everyone, how are we all? Paul79 here. I hope you're safe and well. Been a couple of weeks. Hope you've all had good weeks. It's been half term here in the UK, and I successfully remortgaged my house, and I took the girls to Centre Parks last weekend. No, it was we had a great time. The weather wasn't brilliant, but yeah, we did a few activities and it was nice to get away as a family, and yeah, really enjoyed myself. So been busy at work, been playing table tennis, playing a bit better actually, so that's good. Although I did have a slight accident, you know, that dangerous sport of table tennis, I really hurt my hand. What I was doing is I was going for a shot, and it was close to my body, and my little finger was out, and I got my little finger caught in my pocket and bent it right back. And oh my God, did it hurt. It did swell up a little bit, but you know, that was a couple of weeks ago, and oh my God, yeah, and it's my right hand as well. I'm right-handed, so yeah, that's been hurting a bit. So having to sort of tone down all the DIY that I'm doing, but no, it's all good. It's all good. Whilst I was at Centre Parks, actually, I designed a new logo for the channel, and I'm going to try and make it pop up here. Bing! What do you think? I really quite like it. It's quite sort of simple, but yeah, does the job. I'm thinking about getting some t-shirts made, so if you would be interested in buying one of them, please let me know, because I don't know. But yeah, I quite like them. Probably only be in black, but yeah, and just have the little logo there. But anyway, couple of shout outs before we start. Shout out to my good friend, San Keris and their dog Slim, their lovely dog Slim. They've moved to Singapore, and I hope you're settling in well, guys. And yes, don't worry, you will get a t-shirt, each of you, including Slim the dog. Another shout out to a new colleague at work, Veronica. When she found out about the channel, not only did she subscribe, but she forwarded it on to some of her friends who like cars, who also subscribe. So thanks very much, V. That was really nice of you. And finally, a shout out to my good friend Roland. Unfortunately, had a little bit of an accident, had to stay in hospital for a bit, and yeah, get well soon, mate. I hope you're feeling better, and speak to you soon. But right, car stuff. What are we going to talk about today? Well, this is nothing particularly glamorous, but we're going to talk about foam filling, right? Because on these cars, the way the rear of the car fits together, it goes over part of the original Boxster, and there are gaps sort of in the sort of rear part of the car. And it's best, what you want to do is fill those voids with expanding foam, because it provides insulation, it blocks out road noise, and it just makes your car feel a lot more solid as well. So that's what we're going to do today. The best point to do it is where I am sort of at now, i.e. the kit's fitted, but I haven't painted the car, because it is quite messy. It's quite involved, quite messy, but let's look at me doing that, and all the details and everything you need to know will be explained as we go along. So see you in a bit. Bye-bye! Right, morning gang. So what are we going to do today? Today we're going to do the foam filling. Now it can be a bit of a messy job, but what I thought I'd do is explain what we're actually filling and why we're doing it. So here's the rear of the car, right? And as you've seen in previous videos, the way the rear fits on is you trim back the original Boxster arches, you don't take them off. And these rear arches of the RS fit over the top of them, basically, okay? And what you'll find is there is a gap. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a torch on and sort of show you. So you see this line here where I'm running my finger along. That is part of the original Boxster rear wing, okay? And that would have gone down and met the top of the arch. You can see that this thing has fitted all over it, but there is a nice gap there, yeah? And that basically goes right down, or it's the inside of the top of the arch, basically. Now what you want to do is you want to fill that gap with expanding foam. Why? Well, the issue you have is, let's put my camera back on, come on. if you think about it, there is a void underneath this, because beneath this, maybe about an inch, is the original Boxster arch. And then if you look in, here we go. If you look inside here, so you can see, I'm gonna have to lie down. Is that clear for you guys? Right, okay. So you see these little flat bits, that's where I've made the original Boxster arch bigger by cutting and folding in and riveting it in place. So yeah, this is the original Boxster arch, and you can see there is a gap there. Yeah, you see where I've got my wing, and then there's the gap of the original between here. So in theory, yeah, I'm rubbing now at the top or the inside of the original Boxster arch. Anyway, so there's a gap, right? So what we want to do is we want to fill that gap, because, you know, this is exposed to the outside world. There will be a plastic arch liner that I will put in here to cover the gap, but you also just want to seal it as well on the inside. Yeah, it should in theory stop moisture getting in, you know, if you park your car outside. And yeah, it will improve the noise, because of course there's going to be road noise coming from your big wheels here, and that will go straight into the cabin unless you seal it. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do there. And this is the other side. You can see here there's that gap, big void. You can see actually if you look very closely where my finger's pointing at, you can see the light sort of brown beigey colour. That's the inside of the original Boxster wing. Okay, so I'm just going to get a gun and spray loads of foam in there, and that will fill that gap. And I'll probably it's a bit messy, but I will fill it so it sort of comes flush with here, and it will be filled all the way up here. If you imagine my hand continuing along here, that'll all be foam. I'll fill in that little gap there, and I'll probably do it right down to the bottom here. Yeah, so that's the first bit I'm going to do. Now the second bit I'm going to do, now I've never done this before on the cars, but if you look on the in the interior, oh gosh, my knees. Right, so you see we got this bit of wood, right? Now this is my own design. If I pull that forward a bit, what you can see on the other side is a massive void. Yeah, so this is basically where all the original Boxster convertible roof would fit. You might be able to see it better on this side, you see here. Now what I have done, so again, this is another thing, how it all fits over the top. This bit of metal here, you can see, is original Boxster, and then you've got the kit here, and again there is a gap. Yeah, so I want to fill in all of that gap as well. And what I plan to do, that like I said I've never done before, is I'm going to fill this whole void in as well. Yeah, so what I've got here is I've got nice long bolts that I have put in the original motor sort of mounting points, and then made this wooden thing, and yeah, it literally bolts to that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick the gun in there and spray loads of foam, let it expand, and then bolt that back in place. Yeah, and hopefully it'll all spray over the top here, and then I can neaten it all up, and that will form part of my interior. What I've also done here, you've got this wire that runs into the boot. I'm going to spray in these little corners here, going to spray around here, and just basically seal the whole thing. You can probably yeah, so here's quite a good view. I'm going to be filling all of that gap there, and you know what will happen is it will expand too much, and I'll have to trim a bit back, but it's fine because none of it's permanent. You know, you can trim bits back and then reapply if you want to. One thing before I forget, because you're sort of spraying on the inside of this as well, I can in theory stick my fingers in this hole and stick them out through inside the car. So what I'm going to do is and what you don't want is it all spilling out and into this area here, because this is your air vent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw up bits of newspaper, stick it in there to stop it expanding there. But you see where my hand goes here, so all the underside of this bit, I'm going to fill that with foam as well, so it's all nicely sealed. Okay, Right, I better get on with it. So in terms of what actual filler to use, don't, and I've done this before, don't just go to, you know, your DIY shop and buy that foam stuff that's like in an aerosol with a little plastic tube that goes on the top. It's rubbish. What you want to do is you want to buy this more sort of industrial professional thing and have a gun thing like this, which, you know, is a lot more sturdy, you know, hardcore, and it gets the job done a lot easier and quicker and less mess. You can buy it in a set, and what you get also with it at the end is this gun cleaner, right, which is really good because you screw that on the top here and you spray it through and it cleans the inside of the gun for use, you know, another time. I've already used this on project number 5 and I filled everything in and it was brilliant. So yeah, that's what you want to get, a sort of a more heavy duty thing with a gun like this, as opposed to a can and a plastic straw. Right, so I've done it. Yes, be prepared to be a bit shocked, but yeah, it is very messy. You get bits everywhere, but what you can see here is now we've got foam all in there. Got it behind the 2 bits of wood there, all in there. Also done some around there as well. But yeah, it looks horrendous, but it dries pretty quickly. I'm going to leave this overnight, and then, you know, we can cut bits off, neaten it up. I'll probably have to put a bit more in. Little trick, if you spill it everywhere like I've done here, just let it harden slightly, because it's a lot easier to clean it off. So I mean, here this has already started to harden, and once it's hardened it just picks off and it makes no mess. Yeah, you know, look, I've got it all over the edge of the car here, but yeah, it's hardening now, so it will just come off, and you know, a bit of terps or something and that will go. But yeah, it's made a hell of a mess in my garage floor, but and obviously I've gone a bit too crazy there. You can see it moving and dropping down there, but that's fine. I'm just going to let it harden, and then I can just break all the bits off that I don't need, and tidy it up. I might need to do a few more bits in some gaps. Often, certainly on the underside of here, what you need to do is you need to obviously do the filling on this side first and let it harden. And then I'm going to stick the gun up in here, so it's got something to butt up against when I do a second set of foam filling. All right, but yeah, all good. I'm not worried at all. Yeah, it was a bit of great fun, really. Right, gang. So it's dried now. It takes about 8 hours to dry, and what I've done is I've started sort of trimming it back. So it did look awful in the last scene, because it very much expands because it's expanding foam. But yeah, you can see there what I've got here. I've trimmed it all back, you know, behind the wood there. I've trimmed it all, but all that void, you know, this void here should be now filled with foam. I've taken out the newspaper, and I can feel it, so my fingers now are touching foam, so it's come down there. The thing is I can still stick my hand in quite a lot there. what I'm going to do now, I've run out of filler, that's the thing, run out the old foam. So I've ordered some more, but then I'm going to just spray the gun in there and actually fill all of sort of this area here. The thing is when you start doing this, obviously it's just a big chasm, yeah? So you need to sort of get some of it in there, let it go hard, and then when you do, say, this area, it's got something to butt up against. But yeah, I'm pleased how it's turned out. I've trimmed it back a bit. I'm really pleased how this one's come out. That's exactly how I sort of wanted it. I might just add sort of little extra bits and tidy it all up. This one, I might add a bit more, yeah, so it sort of goes flush, sort of like here. But you know, there's more than enough in there. And what I'll do then is, once it's sort of all dry, I will spray it black so you can't sort of see it. Here you go, you can see at the bottom there, it's sort of all filled in there, and it gives it a bit of rigidity, if that's a word. But yeah, I'm really pleased how that's come out. I will clean all of that up. I will paint the wood black as well. But the beauty is now is because I've done this, I can actually start on fitting the interior and carrying on with that, and actually designing it with my roll cage and everything. I'm going to paint all of this black as well, like I did on project number 5. What else have I done today? I've been tidying up some wiring. So I've got the wiring here. This is for my rear engine cover to make the fans go round. And yeah, just generally getting back into it because I haven't been on it for a good 6 months. I put some wiring in there and just fed it under the carpet, so that's all good. But yeah, I'm really happy about how things are going at the moment. Just ordered an Indian takeaway, so I'll be having that very soon. So I'll see you in a bit. So there you go, everyone. I hope that was useful for you. It's not the most sort of glamorous job or glamorous video, but I thought I'd better do one on the foam filling, because it is something you really need to do before you go and get your car painted and before you sort of fit your interior back, because as you can see, it's quite messy, a bit involved, but it's certainly worth it to sort of make that car more solid and, you know, block out the road noise, etc, etc. Anyway, all good. I'm off to go and walk the dogs now, and hopefully later on watch Man United beat Man City, although I'm not holding up much hope there. But anyway, take care everyone, and see you on the next video. Bye bye.